Let's take a look now at layer masks and what they are and how to use them. First of all, I'm going to do it wrong. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to create a shape here, and I'm just going to draw it on here, and I put this kind of a reddish shape right on my background. Well, I decided I don't want that and I want to erase it. Well, gee, what can I do here? I can go in with my eraser tool, but that doesn't work. I'm going to hit Command or Control Z to undo that. I guess I could always use my clone stamp tool to go in and to clone an area in here, but that's a lot of work and that doesn't get me back to my original image. Well, this is obviously not the way we want to go. So let me show you a much better way of basically erasing. All right, I'm going to revert back to my original image here. I know reverts, there we go. We're going to revert back to the original image, and I am going to make a new layer. Now I'm going to draw the same box, or at least a similar box, on this layer, just like this. Now, what do I do if I want to erase this? Well, easy. I can go into my eraser tool and I can erase, and I can do a lot of other things, and let's just do some things like this, and I save my image. And then I open it back up and I've got this thing, and I say, you know something, I really didn't want this corner missing. I want to put this back in. Well, there's no way I can do it. This is destructive. I mean, I can still go back and see my background, but I can't replace anything on this image. I've made a permanent change. Okay, let's delete that layer right now, and let's create a new blank layer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the box again, and this time I'm going to use another technique called layer masking to erase part of that box. And the way that I do that is I go down to the bottom of my layer panel, right down here, and you see a little box right there that says Add a Mask. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in and I'm going to click on that, and I've just added my mask. Now, what can I do with that? Well, you see the mask is white. Well, what happens if I make that mask black? Now you notice I've clicked on the mask. It's got a heavier line around it. Right now I've clicked on my main image and it's got the heavier line. What this means is that any drawing that I do will be on the layer. Here, whatever drawing I do will be on the layer mask. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill that with black. And the best way, or the easiest way to do that, is just to use the keyboard shortcut Command or Control I for invert. And as I make it black, you can see that it has erased it. Now we're going to invert it again, Command or Control I. It's back at white, and I can see it. Well, gee, that's kind of neat, isn't it? Let me paint in here. I want to make sure that I've got that selected, and I'm going to use a gradient. And the gradient that I'm going to use here is the third square, which is basically black to white. And watch what happens. If I draw from black to white, you can see that where the gradient was black, it is erased and varies in transparency until the gradient is white over here, and you can see that I have my full image. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to hit my Command or Control Z to undo that, and now I'm going to go in and I'm going to grab my stylus here on my Wacom tablet, and I'm going to go to my paintbrush tool, and I'm going to paint with black. Now I'm painting with black. You can see that I've clicked inside the layer mask. I'm painting with black, and now I can erase that mask, or erase that object. And of course there's still a little bit of transparency in there. And the transparency's in there is because I'm using a tablet, and the harder I press the more opaque my painting is. If I don't press very hard at all, then you can see that it's transparent like that. Okay, now what happens if I want to get some of this back? If I decided, well, I didn't want this out. All I have to do is switch to paint with white, and then I can brush back in everything that I had erased. I haven't destroyed anything. This is totally non-destructive, and it gets me right back to my original image. And this works whether I've saved the image and I come back next week, or whether I've just done it a few seconds ago. So that is all there is to layer masking. You mask out part of the layer. When you paint with black, what you're doing is you're revealing the underlying layer. Let's paint with black here. I'm revealing the underlying layer. And if I paint with white, I hide the underlying layer.